When you're doing pushing in your gymnastic strength training, the vast majority of it is vertical because you're inside of a freestanding handstand push-up progression. You're getting a lot of anterior delt and a lot of upper trap, a lot of tricep, but not as much pec development. We do things in CrossFit like repetitive dips and burpees that are more horizontal or downward in pushing. As a result of that, I like to have some horizontal or downward pushing somewhere in the program if I think the athlete needs that. If they already have like really developed pecs, then they probably don't need it. You know, former football players who just have that sort of genetic setup where they've benched 400 pounds before and they have really short humerus and a really thick chest. And it's like, okay, you probably don't need to do this stuff. So I leave it out for them. But plenty of athletes don't have that genetic setup. And so for athletes who don't, I like to have some sort of horizontal or downward pushing inside the program. A close grip bench press is just one of the exercises I use. There's lots of others. When you do the close grip bench press, a common mistake is just going too narrow with the grip and thinking that you have to be fingers on the knurling marking or something like that. If your forearms are like bent inward to where you're getting that amount of elbow flexion, that's too narrow of a grip. So your grip width is going to be dictated by the length of your humerus, because in order to have vertical forearms, everybody's going to have a grip width that's dictated by their humerus. Another thing that I look for with execution is I like to see 30 to 45 degrees of shoulder abduction, not upper arms sliding along the rib cage. What that does is it just allows for a little bit more pec recruitment. And I find that it takes a little bit off of the bicep tendon as well. Look for vertical forearm and 30 to 45 degrees of shoulder abduction. That's where I want my athletes to be when they really any sort of horizontal pressing at all. Those are things that I look for. It's microloadable, which gymnastic strength training is not. When you run gymnastic strength training, you find that the jump between steps in the progression is often pretty significant. You're spending weeks and weeks and weeks on the same exercise and often multiple years, like returning to the same exercises. That can produce a staleness. You need to be determined and really consistent and find ways to stay interested in it. Whereas with the bench press, it's micro-loadable. You can always put, another quarter kilo on there. For people who are really motivated by progression, and most athletes are, they can see that because of the micro-loadability. And that's something that it provides that the gymnastic strength training does not.